Hi folks, today I want to tell you about a book that I have that's available on Kindle or as a PDF download, Squatter in Los Angeles. It's a very interesting story about a year and a half that I spent in Los Angeles as a squatter. Okay, a lot of people are surprised because they know that I'm a pillar of the community. They don't think that I would have had an experience like this. I want to read what Dude McLean had to say. Dude McLean is a friend of ours. Your story is filled with a lot of truth. Some might even be uncomfortable with it. All that means is that you have touched them in a manner that they never thought of in the past. Few authors make you think. They are writing to please others rather than being truthful to themselves. I think this is a very interesting and unique book. You done did good. The book has a great lack of desperation, I feel it is a very positive outlook. Good job. So essentially, I talked about what I did during that year and a half, how I got into the situation in the first place. And basically, because I was working there in Highland Park, I learned of a house that was in probate, and the owner was dead, had recently died, and I basically broke in and cleaned it up and lived there. And I made the somewhat audacious act of notifying all the neighbors that I was now the caretaker. And nobody challenged me. Even a councilman came by and said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm the caretaker." And he told me, "Well, you're not going to get this place." I said, "I know, when the proper owners show up, I'll leave," which is what I did. So during the course of living there, I tried to practice a lot of the things that I believed in. I had ducks, I was raising animals, I practiced a lot of recycling. I did a unique toilet test for 60 days where we used an RV toilet exclusively and dumped it in the yard and grew tomatoes. A lot of people were really surprised to hear about that test. But all of that's in this book. I talk about the ghost, dealing with the ghost that was the old lady as far as we're concerned. You may believe or not believe, but I think you'll find the experience rather interesting. And eventually, you know, I share things like how I printed my first book while I was living there. We had it collated and used that space to put it all together. And living free is not free. I had no, I did have to pay bills, but I had no rent or mortgage. But there is still the cost of maintaining things. And people who tried to come and be freeloaders, I had to boot them out. And I talk about that in here as well. Eventually, as I moved away, I explained when it was clear who the proper owner was. I moved out and I got married and was married for three years, was divorced and was homeless. And I talk about the homeless experience briefly at the very end of the book, as well as a rain dance experience with the city of Pasadena's Victory Park for the day camp. I think you'll like it. There are a lot of interesting little episodes in here. It's not a how-to book on how to break the law. It's really just an interesting story of what one person did. And I remember thinking how I was on top of the world because I had a newspaper column that paid me $5 a week during this time. And so I thought, man, I'm the king of the world. When the reality was I was on the edge of poverty and homelessness the whole time. But I was too young to worry about it. I just went from day to day. This is why Dude says this has a great lack of desperation. I think you'll find it insightful, maybe even funny. And you can get it on Kindle or on our website as a PDF download. So thank you for listening today.